Nigeria, and I make you welcome to Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. We start today with our newspapers and see through everything that we have right there, and right after that in the jiffy would be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to be part of what we do have a saying, what we say. You can always find us or reach us when you visit us at Enterprise TV, news.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us right here in our studios, headquarters, Lagos State, Nigeria. We have Innocent Adoluba, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have on our newspapers and if possibly take us through our main conversation for today. Good morning, Innocent, and welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Happy Friday to you.
Oh, thank you. I'm in the mood for Friday.
Yes, so thank God it's Friday. Very so excited to have everyone join us from wherever it is you are watching from around the world. Now let's start off today with our Daily Trust newspaper, and we have the big story. LG funds after 1 year, nothing has changed, and we have a rider to that particular story. Council received 3.408 trillion naira through state government in 11 months. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, military airstrike kill many terrorists in Zamfara and Kebbi state. And we have amidst high electricity cost, universities, healthcare facilities yet to get subsidy. Very so sad that our public institutions that are the lifeline of the vulnerable in Nigeria still do not get the right subsidy. And the question is, what then is the responsibility of a government? Below that particular story, we have FCT arrested 210 beggars in Abuja. But Innocent, let's start with lack of subsidy for our public health and public institutions in Nigeria. And the question then is, what then is the responsibility of government if public institutions do not get the right subsidy?
Well, that underlines the value of life, the value placed by the government on the life of its citizens. Most times, if you travel out there, the basics are the life insurances and all the soft landings you get, subsidized education. Many people are quick to point at President Tinubu's the cost of fuel during this tenure, with that impulsive announcement of subsidy gone on day one of the inauguration. People, the logic was channeling funds that were already being wasted to areas, sectors that needed this. But, and then it's worse than it is. There is a dichotomy. Rich politicians can afford to take care of themselves medically abroad. From President Muhammadu Buhari to President Tinubu, they all go for medical repairs every now and then. Sometimes is camouflaged in one visit, and you hear the visit was to be 2 weeks, it's now 3 weeks. But I mean, all the medical fixings are ongoing. But here in Nigeria, look at Lagos to Ijebu-Ode is the better part of an hour or a little an hour plus. A woman giving birth, the baby is already crowning with certain encumbrances. They will put such a woman and drive her to Lagos. In good days, the child and the mother are safe. On other days, the stories are not so palatable. So, but if this exists, these are the basics that makes no town better than the other. My friends in Canada says many of their head medical doctors are primed for posts. Every 1 year, you must go to a village this year, come back to the capital next year, go to another village this year, and the hospital in those villages are equal to the hospitals in town. The difference will be size, not in shortage of equipment. And so if this, let's use Nigeria, If this 2024, that head of medical, the head of the medical team, say in Lagos, was transferred to Ijaniki, that's where he will stay for 1 year. The Janiki people have access to the best hands and best practices. You don't need to from Ijaniki run to
travel all the way,
to either Lutz or Lassus. Or if it were, let's go to remote states where we don't have these urban benefits. Let's look at maybe Kogi, where the towns are scattered. You can stay in Kaba and be fine. You can stay in Itobe and be fine. You can stay in Abejukolo and be fine. But as we are now, the president takes themselves abroad, ministers, governors, and even hard-working Nigerians who can afford it.
Unfortunately, not everyone can afford it. Yesterday, particularly, I have a story. Yesterday, the councillor representing my ward, where I stay, the mother slumped. And she was rushed to Lasut, and on getting there, they told her there were no bed space in the hospital. They referred her to military hospital in Yaba. They got there also, there was no bed space. So they had no choice but to go to a private hospital. And they were told that before they would admit the mother, he had to drop 1.5 million naira. So you can see sometimes when we talk about some of these things, it's not just targeted to the most vulnerable. Even the least of us, or those in the middle class, you can see a serving counselor, right now is equally getting, a heat of the moment.
But the counselor is even at the base, is at the residue.
Yes.
Those with the key voices for policy decisions, what are they doing? And you see, I'm usually thinking, how much of accountability do citizens hold their governors? Somebody in Benue is looking beyond Governor Alia to Tinubu. Somebody in Akwa Ibom is looking beyond Governor Moeno at Tinubu. Somebody in Lagos is looking beyond Sanwo-Olu. But the responsibility rests with governors. These are things they campaigned to do. So, you in many places, the primary healthcare is a charade. You see on Monday, a nurse comes in and sit down. You don't see her for the rest of that week. It's nothing more than a dispensary.
Yeah, dispensary.
But you don't still see them for service.
Doing the dispensary.
You know. And then in between, people wear green clothes, walk the street, and shout that they're immunizing children. And the local government feels happy they've done their job. So, like I began, Henry, that's the summary of the value of human life in Nigeria.
Very sad, really. So sad that the government of the day, sometimes you say we look above our state governors to see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But the question still remains that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu still has what it takes to get things working. Nigeria's politics is such that if the man at the very top of the echelon is able to do something great, it follows suit. It's like a cascade. It cascades even to the governor to want to follow suit. So don't you think there's nothing bad looking up to the president for some of these things, hoping that when he would change, lots of other things would equally follow suit?
Health are emergencies. In emergencies, you look for the nearest help. What the mathematicians will tell you to the nearest whole number. And so if you are looking beyond the local government chairman, the governor, you are looking beyond them to the president, that's a long shot. And notice that there is no governor who made medical infrastructure a priority that was lambasted by a president. The governors are, the residual authority for discretion is on their table. We can point at Governor Ambode. He was known for infrastructural revolution. Or His Excellency Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola for environmental and orderliness in Lagos. We can point at Governor Oti in Abia. He has his policy direction. We can remember Governor Donald Duke Cross River. His focus was in tourism. which of the governors will prioritize health? It's not a presidential mandate.
And say, I would love to make my state the health hub.
Yes.
Where everyone from different area can only come here for the best of healthcare services.
If we have such now, wherever it is, no health destination is too far.
Very true.
People travel to Russia, US, and of recent, India. There is no health destination that is too far. Like I was telling myself in one of my midnight research, if I were a governor, my state will trash insecurity without the federal government. And boom, our agriculture. Let people who say they have food inflation come and buy. So, the same way I can think it, that if I were a governor, in the interland, infrastructure for health will be standard. We will motivate the staff who will work there. That's why, Harry, beyond the Japa culture we have now, the SADES is a college of doctors banded together to travel in one block. And our huge losses are huge gains over the other shows.
Very sad, Innocent. But let's take a look at other matters here. On the downstream, FCT arrests 210 beggars in Abuja. And I'd love to believe it's for loitering, which, of course, it's not very palatable. I saw a viral video of cows, roaming down the streets, the central business district in Abuja. You see cows defecating all over the place, messing up everywhere in the FCT. And I just asked myself, if I was a tourist visiting Nigeria at that particular point, what would be my perception of the country? So when we hear that beggars are being arrested by the FCT minister, it's a laudable one. But do you think the community or the region will see it as a very good one?
Well, there is this book, The Beggar's Strike. I don't know who wrote that book now. Is it Mo Ndiaye? It's a book, the setting is in Guinea.
Yes.
The Guinea, so I'm wondering, what would be the offense of the beggars?
Loitering.
What of the one that was just static in one place?
Loitering too.
Okay. The beggar became a litter that he littered.
His personality for being in the wrong place.
Tomorrow is a local government election in Lagos. Of course, we are talking Abuja, but that tier of government seem to have a lot to do that they are not doing.
Which tier exactly now?
The local government.
Okay.
That place, the beggar seat or cluster, is a ward or district of a local government.
Yes, very true.
And so some of these local government render themselves useless, and the governors happily fill the void. And so that's where the governors seem to have some tacit legitimacy in accessing local government funds, since they are the ones carrying out. Look at in Lagos, where you have agencies. If you have Loma, an agency of the state,
we have
helping with waste. Loma no longer answers to a local government unless they are sub-administered. So I don't know what country you travel to and you just see beggars all over the place. So it's laudable. It's the alternative to their well-being that becomes the next question. But I support that policy.
Yeah, because when you take a look at Lagos particularly, the level of mendicancy is at an all-time high. When you come in out of Lagos, a beggar particularly, you see the level of mendicancy there. It is despicable. And these people are coming from a particular region. Of course, we're not trying to, call them out, but they're coming from a particular region where we think that governors of those regions hold those Nigerians the responsibility of taking care of them.
Again, we are back to the same topic. If you look at Lagos, if I was the Lagos state governor, I would not arrest any beggar.
What would you have done?
If you are a beggar with children in front of you, I'll take the children and leave.
So how good is that?
You see some people, I don't know if they gave birth to the children right on that place. See people with children of 1 year.
Yeah.
You see some
1
of
to
them,
5.
some children are 5 years old. You are crossing the road, a vehicle is coming, the child is running after you, you are not aware, and a vehicle is almost hitting the child who wants to reach you to beg.
Yes.
So in that case, I will say it right away. Lagos, yes, it's an industrial commercial hub. We are very populated, but no Lagos governor should condone such large volume of beggars on the road. They are fellow human beings like us, irrespective of their depraved position, but it's an environmental hazard.
Yes.
It is, and alongside with human beings who pollute the road with urine and defecation, for the beggars, these are their natural place.
Yes.
I mean, where's their accommodation?
And the truth of the matter is, most of these kids who beg alongside their mothers should be in school. And they are amongst the 23 million out-of-school children in Nigeria.
So by Lagos allowing that, I'm specific about Lagos.
Yes.
If we want to count number of out-of-school children in Nigeria, those in Lagos will be high.
Yes.
You can't say, no, it's not our place. They are in Lagos.
They're in Lagos.
You know, I think there was a time His Excellency Governor Fashola sent some people.
Sent them all over.
You know,
sent them back to where they were coming from.
There was a time I was traveling by bus to, I don't know if it's Abuja or Kaduna. Some time ago, over a decade now, because since I hear of this kidnapping, I must gather my flight money. I've got a family now. I can't be too reckless. So we got to Beggar. If you know the Beggar leg of Lagos, as soon as you cross the Ogun River, the bus parked. I'm talking of like 5:36. And people I recognize from my area as beggars, a lot of them, about 30 of them were standing by the road. I saw them, you know. And they opened the bus and they all came in. It was an October period. I think one of the Salahs, one of the Islamic holidays. Okay. They all came in and stood in the middle of the bus. And then I was by the window. I asked somebody, say, okay, they are going for Salah. They were not charged transportation. So they will possibly, in their trade, they've gathered something. They will go for Salah. By the same freebie, they will come back.
And continue.
So if they can leave and be fine for some days, they can also be where they are and be fine for
as
long.
Much as they want to. Of course, everyone needs opportunity, and that's why you see lots of movement from one place to another. This is upon us, especially when people say Governor, His Excellency Governor Sanwo-Olu is not doing that much. It's not in touch with the lowest of the lowest. Is some of these things. The governor's responsibility is to be in charge, not just in charge, but totally in charge of his territory. And the question is Governor Sanwo-Olu doing as much as that? Well, Innocent, just before we call it a wrap for today, let's look at what we have from the Guardian newspaper. Big story: elderly care, emerging boom in home services, costly substitute for Erling hospitals. This used not to be our culture. It's been our thing for us to take care of our elderly, senior citizens, our mothers, our fathers, uncles. But right now it's beginning to take a new shape. We started having elderly care homes now in Nigeria. What do you have to say about this? Is this...
I think it's globalization.
Okay.
And you know, with globalization, the world gets smaller and closer. Lots of Nigerians also travel, and part of their hustles is taking care of the elderly. And then two, it's down to convenience. Henry, if you and I are married and we both go to work and our parents live with us and have reached the stage where they need round-the-clock attention, it will be a preferential scaling of, do one of us leave our job and look after that parent, the aging parent, or we work hard, get the bill, and put them in a home where people look after them while we go to work. So I think I would say it's a welcome development.
Really?
Yes. If people are catered for. This, again, at this stage, is still better than negligence. Yes, it is. Because there are those, in quote, who have left their parents in their hometown to nobody's care.
Okay.
So, that's negligence, outright negligence. But if you bring that person to the town you stay or a home and still pay, the person may not get the attention that you give as a direct relation, but at least that there's care available. So
the most important thing is care.
And that's also economic expansion of job creation. So however we analyze it, it even shows that Nigeria is growing. Once upon a time there were no homes. And what if some people, some of these aged, their children are, let me use the word, I don't know, the person going to a home, an orphan is the person with no parents. What if they are now parents to diseased orphans? You know, there are people who can look at them to the extent of relationship, neighborliness, and pay a home and say, this is my old neighbor, has nowhere to look after them. Look after them for us. So I think it's developmental. The gains are more than the pain.
Well, it's been there for a very long time. I know, and I belong to charity organizations like the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, which is a society tagged with the responsibility of taking care of people, the elderly people. So we do so many of this sort of job, and it is actually not new. But it's just that it is maybe encroaching into the family circle, and that's why it's looking like it's a bit new. But just before we go, 60 seconds, if you may, let's take a look at this other story from the Vanguard newspaper. Senate sacks Natasha Uduaghan as committee chairman, and if possible, let's sandwich this with this other story. If not for Tinubu, Buhari wouldn't have been APC primaries. Coming from presidency, but it's been countered by the people who are speaking for Buhari, that Tinubu was not the one that brought Buhari to power.
Well, opinions will vary. From where I sit, I will credit the ascendancy of President Buhari to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Very well. That's crystal
because
clear.
we could see the measure, we could see it was even President Tinubu who were his foot soldiers campaigning for him across the country. Yes. And to a large extent, the acceptability, the national acceptability of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu rode in favor of, and because they were all in one party as a measure, I don't see what people should refute in this kind of argument.
No, because with the coming of the ADC now, it's becoming lots of issue. You know, lots
the
of
Buhari leg are in ADC.
ADC, yes.
Well, look,
90%, 100% of them.
How do they put it? Losers must complain. While they were winning, this is preposterous. As for Natasha, the Bika rumor, musings are that she was, for a first-time senator, not qualified in the first place
to head
this. And people are saying that is buffering some allegations by Natasha. So if she was a greenhorn, maybe she was taken there with certain expectations for returns as compensation. Now that things have gone sour, okay, let's put it out bare. You are not qualified, go away. So that in all of this, I would think the Senate, if you look at the country, the Senate's responsibility to Nigerians are so urgent to be centered around personal issues. My respected lecturer, Professor Onoha, and then Professor Henry Coker, they say certain government politicians are misguided and disjointed in their thinking. They publicize personal issues and personalize public issues. I think that's where we are right now. Like I would tell you, silence is lethal. Ignore Natasha, do your work and go.
Exactly.
You are here at the behest of a large number of people of constituents who sent you here. And that's why my clamor is, let the Senate, in their every vote, be communicated in digitals. Let's see who is voting for what and where. And we can measure quality representation. And I don't think this is the priority. The people from Ikorekpene constituency, where the Senate President is from, this was not what they were looking at. Anyway, there are some arguments that without contesting, Senator Akpabio emerged victorious, you know. But I'm saying on a very serious note, my senator from my constituency, I shouldn't, we from my constituency, with due respect, don't care about Natasha. We care that, oh, there are headsmen disturbing us, so we can't go to farm. Oh, the youth would need some empowerment training. Oh, where there are flooding, help us with culvert. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is very important, but it's not the priority of every Nigerian in their various constituencies.
She's only important to her
constituency. The constituency in Kogi, where she is from. And admittedly, it's on national media that she is delivering well. So why she is delivering well, senators and whoever are not delivering are bothering about the person
who is delivering for her constituency.
But look at that's a ridiculous anticlimax.
Very, very ridiculous one. An upside down sort of shenanigan happening with the 10th Assembly right now. It's so very unfortunate that we're living in a Nigeria where lots of things are really not going the way we want it to go, especially coming from those who should be making the laws and helping us see through some of these things, but they are not doing that and going on the personal vendetta, which is really not necessary. This is still Enterprise Friday. Innocent Adoluwa would be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we return. $18 billion refinery may never work, and that's coming from Dangote. Very much for being back, and if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Friday reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. Aliko Dangote, president of Dangote Group, has cast serious doubt on the future of Nigeria's government-owned refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, stating they may never function effectively despite over $18 billion spent on their rehabilitation. Speaking during a visit by members of the Global CEO Africa to the Dangote refinery, he argued that attempting to modernize decades-old infrastructure is impractical, likening it to fitting a 40-year-old car with a new engine that its body cannot handle. Dangote revealed he once bought the refineries in 2007 under President Obasanjo's administration, but the deal was reversed by his successor, the late President Yar'Adua, who believed the NNPC could manage them. He claimed the decision was misguided and that funds sunk into turnaround maintenance have yielded no results. He said, and I would love to quote him, "I doubt very much if they will ever work," he said, emphasizing the systemic inefficiencies and outdated technology plaguing the facilities. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo echoed similar sentiment, stating that NNPC knowingly misled the government while corruption thrived. He said over $2 billion more has been wasted recently, with no functional refinery to show for it. He praised Dangote for his 650,000 barrels per day private refinery, expressing confidence it would succeed while public efforts had failed. As you have with me, Innocent Aduluba. Thank you so very much, Innocent, for hanging on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, so we have a sum total of $18 billion.
Yeah.
$18 billion that has gone to taking care of the public refineries that we have in Nigeria. And lots of people would wonder, why would we sink so much money to the refinery that seemed not to work or would not even work? And lots of Nigerians would ask the most important question: why is it that the government of the day consistently in transition would not have seen this coming? Or are they complicit to the decay happening with the NNPC? Innocent Aduluba, there you have it, $18 billion. And one would ask, how much did Dangote use to construct his own? Less than $15 billion. And we have a brand new single train, largest refinery in the world. And there we have it. We spent $18 billion on something that's not useful at all.
Well, let's spare the blushes of Nigerians. You are referring to Warri, Kaduna, and Port Harcourt.
Yes. And
Dangote's own was only one.
Yes.
Comparatively, let's trim the frugality there. But with Nigeria's expenses, you are dealing with political miracles and mysteries. If they tell you it's one or two, in another place, efficiently it will be less. Dangote is speaking from a business viewpoint. Nigeria's foremost businessman, somebody who is most time the only Nigerian appearing on the Forbes list of the world's most successful business people, shrewd in all ramification, and I'm impressed to hear he even bought it before. So he took that risk, telling you that maybe from a private handling, it would survive.
It would have survived.
But with the government style, political miracles, red tape, nepotism, corruption, it's a waste conduit. And it smacks of what Nigeria